common gaps in tarot education. So, I mean, you and I have been teaching, oh golly,
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
I think my very first tarot course was 2007 when I had Tarot 101 in my little manual printed out on my home printer. And I think you've been teaching not too much longer than that. Uh, but there's definitely gaps in the educational side of tarot, and I think the ethics as a reader is probably one of the biggest gaps that I've seen. I mean, you'll get the short courses that, they'll teach you all the card meanings in a weekend. But I mean, if there's a course out there that can teach you all the card meanings in a weekend, I want to take that course. Like, I don't think one really exists.
My
Uh,
brain will be melted by the end. It's a lot of information.
there's a lot of
And
information.
also, I think if you embark on a journey with tarot properly, it's a soul process, right? Because each card offers you this spiritual up, level up. So I mean, you can't do that in
Mm,
a weekend. You can't do the whole full journey in a weekend. The full journey is such a great um, description of each stage of the spiritual development from
mm,
being birthed to being enlightened, and that's not
yeah,
a small process. And
no.
there's a significant amount of chapters in that process. And you redo it so many times in your life, and you arrive back at the full stage with new wisdom and new experience, but suddenly you find yourself in the full stage again because you're starting again in something new now. And
Yeah.
so keep going. So I don't, but I think I respectfully would say that people that are selling you the tarot in 48 hours or 2 weeks are doing you a disservice, because you're not getting your
Mm,
own growth through that process, which is really what you need in order to share and teach, I think.
absolutely. I think that's probably one of the big shortfalls in a lot of tarot education that is out there, is it's everybody wants the instant gratification. They want to know the cards and they want to know it now, and it's like, yeah, from experience, it's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. Like they're selling you a lie if, like you say, oh, learn the cards in 2 weeks or in 48 hours. You're not. The cards, it's a lifetime journey, absolutely. And if you're really going to put in work and effort to really work with the cards at least months, months to
Yeah.
start cracking them open and really starting to get to know them. But yeah, these short courses in the cards, save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money and buy yourself another set of cards to learn.
Yes, add to your collection. And
Yes.
also, I think, one of the great things that we come up against as metaphysical, spiritual healers, whatever word you want to use for, this kind of work, is the fact that there's so many people out there selling rubbish, being a
Mm,
charlatan. And there's such, we've been done such a disservice in terms of people that have sort of diluted the essence of this sort of ancient sacred craft, by, you know, trying to pull a quick one over you and you're not actually getting anything. It's not fair to the origin of the craft and people who want to take it seriously. So I think one of the gaps in this work, whether it's, and I mean, we're talking about tarot today, but I think it transcends to things like Reiki and astrology and energy
mm,
healing, all of these things. You're offering something that is legitimate and serious. It's something that has substance, and it's something that has potentially magical outcomes. So you need to take yourself seriously, and you need to make sure that what you're offering is serious, and you want to create a brand and an energy for yourself so that when you put yourself out there, you're able to combat that kind of negative press, if you like, that's out there about the
mm,
kind of work that we do. So I
mm.
think having an ethical practice and having a strong sense of your own morals in and around what you're doing is very important. And that's something that
Absolutely.
we have added into our mentorship program to
Mm,
help people decide what that is and how to deal with that. Do you want to
yeah.
talk more on that, Tam?
Yeah, because I only really understood tarot ethics probably close to about 10 years in on being a reader, because I never thought, ethics and tarot, what is that? How do they tie in? And it's as simple as a person comes to see you for a reading and they say, you know, what can you tell me about my best friend? You know, what do they think of me, and what do they feel about me? And back in the day, I would have just whipped out the cards and, you know, played them down and started giving the answers. And now I'd be like, I can't answer that question for you. Sorry, because the person that you're asking about is not here in front of me. And it's an invasion of privacy. It really is. So the way that I've uh, shaped myself as a reader over the years is to become more ethical, where, you know, I don't read for third parties. I don't read for entertainment purposes. I mean, I've been hired as an entertaining reader, and I'll be honest, at the times where I have been phoned up for those things, there's a part of me that was like, "Ooh, this feels kind of gross. You know, this feels kind of
Yeah.
icky." You know, and
Yeah.
it's because it just detracts from the full power and impact of what the tarot is and what it can do for a person. You know, and being an ethical reader is having things like discernment, knowing what to share with your clients and what not to share with your clients. You know, and that again, you can't learn that in a 2-week course or a 48-hour course. That's something that really you learn through years of experience, is where your discernment really comes in. You know, we'll cover that in the course and teach you the basics, but it's foundational things that you as a reader will figure out for yourself. But yeah, reading for other people that aren't present, the doing predictive work when you don't have the gift of prophecy, and yeah, you asking bad questions, asking bad questions of the cards. Like we're gonna teach you how to ask good questions of the cards. Like, you know, don't ask, you know, who's my future star sign. You know, what is their star sign and what do they look like? You know, am I gonna get the promotion? Am I gonna get the increase? You know, there's far better questions to ask of the cards than, you know, the scratchy surface level stuff. But I think that um you know, like Hollywood and movies they've kind of messed with that a lot, you know, and then
Yeah.
we have all the other misconceptions that come with that, which is a another conversation for another time. But um, you know, those are the things where when you have a solid foundation of ethics in your as a reader, you get rid of a lot of that unnecessary stuff where it's, you know, oh, I'm just
Yeah.
performing by putting these cards down, you know, I'm, you know,
Yeah.
being the foresight and the fortune teller. I remember reading in a place in the waterfront. Um, she had two sections. She had the section where it was like the, you know, the angels and the lights and the pretty side, and then there was the other side, and it was labeled the fortune teller. And I remember reading in that space, and I hated it. Like my soul like curled up on the inside and like wanted to die. I was like, no, why are you doing this to me? We deserve so much better. And I didn't last long reading in that space because I couldn't put myself out there as this
Yeah.
fortune teller. You
Gimmick.
know, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's yucky.
Yeah. And I think that is important to really honor, is that, you know, if you
Mhm.
don't feel an integrity with what you're being asked to do, then the energy is probably off and it's maybe not, and we need to learn to trust that. I've also been
Mm.
in situations where it's like, come and be the entertainer and, you know, do little pop readings or whatever they want to call it, you know, and it didn't eventually end up working out. And I thought about it afterwards as you were talking. It's so true. It's like the energy doesn't actually align because it's almost disrespectful of the sacred relationship that we have with the craft,
Mm.
is to, you know, to do it in a sort of entertaining kind of way. Obviously the tarot can be entertaining, as you and I've read for each other before, where things pop up and, you know, it's amazing how it
Mm.
like creates the sense of meaning, but it's because we love it and it's because we understand it. It's not because
Yeah.
it's something gimmicky, you know.
Yeah.
And I do think that there are, unfortunately, you know, you get these emails online, something amazing is going to happen and all you have to do is pay $15, you know. That's not we're trying to move away from that kind of thing, you know. We want
Mm.
to demystify the tarot. We want to bring spiritual work back to the pedestal that it deserves. Once upon a time,
Mm.
certainly astrology and tarot, once upon a time, they used to be part of things like they were as important as medicine, mathematics, and physics. Certainly astrology
Yes.
was. And it just, because of people's misconceptions and fears and religious beliefs over the time, has just been sort of, how can I say, its reputation has just been tarnished so much, and people are missing out on this amazing aspect of our well-being. Our well-being is not just our physical health. It's not just our mental health or our financial health. Our spiritual health is probably the biggest part of our well-being that we should be looking at.
Yes.
And there's multiple ways to do it. And those who want to do it through the tools that we offer, they should have the opportunity, I think.
Absolutely. And it's another way that you said that its reputation has been tarnished over the years. I mean, where I live now, I mean, I live in the Bible Belt of the Southeast. So when I say to people, I work with tarot, like instantly there's that fear of a look of fear in their eyes, and they're like, oh, do we need to get our stake and our torches? Like, who is this person and what are they all about? And that's where I'll take the opportunity to educate on what the cards are, and what they're not. For me, educating people on the accuracy of cards is probably it's become a mission for me in life. Any opportunity where someone says something that's incorrect about the cards, I'm like, no. Sit down for 2 seconds. Like, let's talk about this. Let's be realistic about this. Let me teach you some things, because it is. I mean, it's a sacred tool. It's a spiritual tool, and that's how it should be looked at and treated. You don't have to wrap your cards in bubble wrap and keep them like in pristine condition or anything. It's not like the ancestors are going to pop out and shout at you because you don't look after your cards right. But have them, treat them with respect, read with respect, have fun with the cards. Absolutely. I mean, there's going to be some beautiful, profound things that'll come out, and you'll be like, wow, this is amazing. So have fun with reading, enjoy working with the cards, but come from that place of respect with the cards. They're no different to any kind of spiritual tool. You have, I mean, there's thousands of different spiritual tools out there from all the different traditions that we have, and all of those tools are treated with reverence and respect because people understand that's the type of tool it is. But the cards have just over the years gotten this rap of it's a tool for entertainment. I mean, there's laws in certain countries where they actually have to have that as a disclaimer that this is just for entertainment purposes only. And I'm like, let's rewrite the laws. Let's absolutely rewrite those laws because they're inaccurate. It detracts from something that is really sacred and beautiful. It's a spiritual tool, and it should be treated as such with that kind of level of reverence. It's the same with your yoga mat or your meditation cushion or your altar space or the candles on your altar. You treat each of them with reverence and respect. You clean your yoga mat when you're done after a class. You pack it away nice and neatly. You don't just leave it lying around or willy-nilly like, who cares about this? So, and the cards need to be treated with that same level as well. Yeah.